Hello, so this is a Truth About Growing Up video. So in this video I'm talking about teenage years and how I got through those days till my 20s. I found school very tough. If you've not seen my other videos, I talk about it a lot because I felt I couldn't get into the routine of it, and it was like too demanding, and felt like I just sometimes wanted the ground to swallow me up because I couldn't. Because obviously at school, the education is totally different to when you're at primary school. Well, it is in the UK anyway. And so it took me ages to get used to it, and I couldn't get to grips with it. But also I couldn't get to grips with my teenage years. I've never been someone who followed trends, but I've always accidentally been classed as being trendy. But that was never my intention. I just love clothes and I love different styles, and I've had wardrobe disasters. I remember owning an MC Hammer suit and thought it was, hip hop, and it looked ridiculous. At the time, I actually thought I looked very, with the fashion, even though that was not my intention. When I found it tough, I made uh, I built different relationships. I didn't keep in touch with any of the girls or anybody that I went to school with in primary school. But look, that's because I don't know, we just drifted apart, and we didn't all. When it came to primary school where I lived, there was two schools that mainly people went to. But then when it comes to secondary school, it's wherever. I didn't go. I never went before my school friends went. So that's why I went to a school in Westminster. And that was hard going because I had to kind of start again. But I was lucky because there was children there that I did know, but they were either in the upper year or they were started to play in different groups to me. So I wouldn't really class them as great friendships, but associates I would call them. Looking back, I mean, I did have a best friend that I went to school with, but she was in the upper year, and then because I formed my own friends in the end, we kind of went our separate ways, but not intentionally. It's just that you form different relationships, and it's hard to split yourself apart. But I did keep in contact with a lot of the girls that I went to school with, and thanks to Facebook, that's made it, quite easy. Now I don't really do Facebook as much now, but I still keep in contact via social media, and I think that's the benefit of social media. You can still send a happy birthday to those who you share memories with, and so build as many memories as you can of your teenage years. And the best memories I had as a teenager was I started going to watch rugby league, because I was very much into sport around that time, and it kind of took over my world, and I was very into football. Every Wednesday after secondary school, me and my friends would go to WH Smith's, which is a stationery shop in the UK, and we'd go and look through all the magazines, and so those times were good, and I'm glad I've got the memories, and I started to go to concerts, still, because I did that as a kid, but more as a teenager. I went to different gigs, and I loved. So, have things that you look forward to. Do have a hobby. I did a video a while back talking about having a hobby, and I'm glad I had hobbies because it just gives you something to look forward to. When I go on holidays, I started to go on very many away trips with the rugby league team that I followed, with the rest of the supporters. And it was just such even though I didn't like school, having those things really helped me to make the most of my teenage years, and then that followed on to my 20s. And I did feel a lot better when I got into my 20s. I started to really build my confidence, compared to when I was in primary and secondary school. I was a confused child. I wasn't sure who I was supposed to be. If that makes sense. I didn't know how I was really supposed to feel. I often felt like I was the odd one out, but I know that's psychological now. That is psychological because I think I all the time underrate myself and my capabilities, and I kind of see that in my son Henry because he's had to go to two schools, only being in primary stage, and it's been a huge transition. But he seemed to have taken to him really well. But with him, I see that he doesn't always show what he's actually really capable of, and that's something that I'm trying to understand about. Um, and for me, it was, I had to have things that I knew I was good at. Like I did dance in school on a Saturday, and that really helped build confidence. And it's finding things that you know that you're good at that can form different relationships, even if you can't make friends in school. Um, and I was bullied in primary school, but I was never bullied in secondary school because I held my guard up and made sure that that didn't happen. There were girls that tried, but I took no notice of it. I just wanted to get through those days without any hassle and just, get through it the best I could. So, and if, I didn't form a load of friendships, it wasn't anything that bothered me. It was just getting through the days as much as I could. But having things to look forward to really made a difference. And my confidence built when I started doing dance in school, started going to rugby, started to go to rock concerts, or not rock concerts, but different bands, and they made a huge difference in how I felt as a teenager. I felt like, looking back, that I had a good teenage years. I never had any boyfriends around that time, not at all. Again, it was quite late for me to get into actually going out with someone. Um, because just wasn't, I don't know, it's something that I mean, sometimes I wish I had, but then at the time I thought no, because I just wanted to get to know myself and be single for a while before I had to worry about that. So, and teenage years isn't all about getting a boyfriend, it's more understanding the changes that your body's going through, understanding the different relationships, the different emotions that you feel, and it can be sometimes being on a roller coaster. I had real problems with food. I did have an eating disorder at one point. So I was so paranoid about my weight, and I still feel like that now sometimes, but I'm a lot better about it now. And I will, watch what I eat, and I'm not super healthy, but I try to be healthy. I do have vegetables in my diet. I mean, as a teenage, from I say child teenage years, I was very fussy when it came to food, very fussy. Um, and I would go to the sweet shop and then I'd feel guilty because I thought, I know, problem with sugary foods, and it was like a whirlwind all the time, and so what I would say, if you're having problems with your body and your diet and you worry about your self-image, make one change a day, but don't restrict yourself. Um, it is all about moderation, and I'm sure you've heard that 1,000 times, but it is true. Um, and I now do more exercise than I did back then, but I was really into walking. I would still walk. I would, I mean, I wasn't a lazy cow. I liked having lazy days, but I always had something to do, and I think that's what got me through it. Having loads of things to look forward to, having loads of things to, having a lot more friendships, and friendship means the world to me, and it's not something that I push aside. It's something that I really, because I still, you know, not as much now in my 40s, but I have, still seen some friends from school on different occasions. But in teenage years, it was friendship and having hobbies that made me get through those times, and I'll spoke about that in another video. But yeah, just take each day as it comes. If you're feeling pressured, do speak to people, speak to somebody about it. Your teachers are there at school are there to listen and help you, same as your parents, and just finding an even ground is what's important. Finding where you feel balanced. Because I find that sometimes the balance between me and secondary school were like that, that being school, and so it would be uneven for me. So I had to find a balance between the girl that lived every day to secondary school, and it was like that. It never felt like it was an even ground, which is very important. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I hope that you find it helpful, and there will be more videos to come. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Take care.